Oh dear, I didn't plan for this.
A real murder?
I planned for a real murder, it's just the wrong murder.
How ingenious. Kill the detective first, and then no one can solve your crime.
Oh, he's faking it.
How would you know? Did you kill him?
Well, of course not.
Well, he suspected you before he died.
Of what?
Being the murderer.
Don't be ridiculous.
You've been acting suspicious all night. Yeah, taking the Mythington's reservation like that.
I planned this night for months.
My darling.
We were gonna sit right over there, where they are, but they left us over here, at this old thing.
Oh, my darling.
Isn't that romantic, Henry?
I think I'm going to be sick.
Oh, nonsense! Rathbone can't be dead. We paid to watch him solve a crime.
I want my money back.
Yes!
Wait a moment now. You all came to murder night to watch a crime solved. No one said Rathbone had to solve it.
Then who solves it?
You do.
We won't solve anything. We refuse.
Someone call the police.
Rathbone was the police.
I mean, call the real police.
I'm terribly sorry. That's not the way the evening goes. Rathbone paid off the entire police department. They wouldn't come, even if we begged.
This is absurd.
Sit down!
I will not sit down. We came in for a dinner, not a murder.
You forced your way in here, bub, and you're going to stay! Water! Water!
Oh, for heaven's sake, we don't want any water.
Water! Water!
Wait, I think she's trying to tell us something.
What is it, girl?
Water!
At last, the intended murder.
No, that's not it either. We never killed part of the waitstaff. Looks like we've got an uninvited murderer in our midst.
She's been poisoned. It was the water. This is the best lobster I've ever eaten.
How can you eat at a time like this?
Well, it's really good.
But the water. Someone poisoned the busboy's water.
So, don't drink the water.
Well, don't you understand? That water was meant for me.
This is delicious. My compliments to the chef.
For goodness sake, you don't even care.
How can I care for anything when I'm getting such delicious lobster?
You like it?
I love it.
It's perfect lobster. World famous.
It should be. It's wonderful.
A woman after my heart.
Same. If you don't mind, I'd like some lobster too.
Me too.
And me.
And me. Why is she so special? She gets a special, and none of the rest of us is special enough for a special?
My dear, you're blabbering again.
Terribly sorry, dear.
Put that fork down. Does anyone care about the deaths?
I won't put my fork down. This lobster is delicious, and I deserve it. And I came here to this restaurant, and I've been put through 2 grisly murders.
It's not a bear, dear. The word is grisly.
Grisly murders.
Grisly, do you mean something with gristle? She isn't having steak.
No, grisly, meaning a horrible.
Who cares about the stinking murder? This lobster is delicious, and I have to put up with this loser at my dinner table. So I deserve to eat every succulent bite.
You really like it? It got 4 stars in the Times.
Yes, and so did the restaurant.
Restaurant. You wouldn't have a restaurant if it weren't for my lobster.
Would someone please like to solve this murder?
Very well, I'll do it.
You're just an accountant.
Wrong. That man was just an accountant. I'm actually a detective.
What?
You see, I came disguised as a Mythington. I'm not really a Mythington.
You're not?
No, dear.
Where's my husband?
I wouldn't know.
But if you're not my husband, then who are you?
I'm Rathbone.
What?
That's why I was so mad about you taking my place on the reservation list, Joe. Because if I wasn't here to solve tonight's crimes, the crimes wouldn't be solved.
But how did you know?
What?
Well, you must have known Rathbone, or that man was going to be killed. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a murder to solve. So that means you're the murderer!
I beg your pardon!
That's right. Why else would you allow a vagrant like this boy to take your dinner reservation? You came in ready to commit a murder all along.
Oh, this is fun. So he did it.
Someone call the police!
Wait just a moment.
I still want to know what happened to my husband.
I am your husband.
But you said...
You're really Mrs. Rathbone.
I am? And you're really a detective and not an accountant?
Yes.
I'm very confused.
Just be quiet, Francis.
He's lying. He's not really a detective at all. I am.
Don't be an idiot, dear. You're not fooling anyone.
But darling,
You can never be a detective. You're afraid of your own shadow.
I'll prove I could be a detective. This man is not really dead.
What?
He's been lying here the whole time, listening. Aren't you, Rathbone?
All right. You've got me. I'm not really dead.
Darling, how did you know that?
Caught him snatching little breaths when he thought no one else was looking.
How ingenious of you, dear.
Oh, thank you, darling.
I recorded the sounds of gunshots before you came in and played them over the restaurant's sound system so you'd think I'd been shot.
Ingenious.
Of course it was. But now we have a crime to solve, for this poor young busboy has been murdered.
Somebody poisoned her water.
Is that so? We'll get to that. But first, you're not really a detective.
Well, no. No, I'm not.
Good. And you're not really a detective either.
I am.
Do you have a reason to pretend to be something you're not, Mythington?
You can't prove a thing.
Not yet. But I can prove one thing right now. Mrs. Cabbage.
She can't be a detective. I've known her all my life.
She isn't a detective. Right. Like the busboy, she's dead.
What?
Mrs. Cabbage was the intended murder victim. I pretended to die so the real murderer would be distracted and actually kill someone. The busboy somehow got in the way. Poor girl. Because the real murderer, whoever he or she is, had Mrs. Cabbage in mind the entire time. And he or she, it, committed murder.
Yup. She's quite dead.
This is wonderful. We've gotten multiple murders for the price of one.
You're not supposed to be happy about it, darling.
But this is what we paid for, isn't it?
Is it, Mrs. Elsinore? Did you pay to see Mrs. Cabbage murdered?
What?
Blast it, darling. You're focusing the suspicion on yourself.
Oh, dear.
Indeed. Did you know Mrs. Cabbage, Mrs. Elsinore?
Why, no, I've never seen her before this evening.
I see. Well, someone had it in for her. She's been poisoned. And this time it wasn't the water.
Wait a minute. Are you suggesting...
The easiest way to poison an innocent victim. By poisoning the food.
Hey, excuse me?
Her lips are discolored. Her tongue has turned purple. Mrs. Cabbage was killed by a fast-acting poison extracted from king cobra eggs. A classic ploy by a murderer. If I've seen it once, I've seen it 1,000 times.
Amazing.
Which means there's one of us who has some explaining to do awfully fast.
Me?
You're the only one with access to all the food in the kitchen, Cookie, old pal.
That's not true. The waiter and the waitress do too.
No, we didn't.
You never even let us touch the food.
We have to fight to even bring it out to the table.
Yeah, that's why she grabbed the blender when she thought you'd been stabbed.
Yeah. Wait. What?
Pathetic children. You'll never pin this on me.
It's your word against theirs, Cookie.
Stop calling me Cookie. My name is Antonio. Do you hear me? Antonio.
This is the most delicious lobster.
Would you stop eating?
I can't. I can't stop.
You're insane.
She isn't insane. It's your secret recipe, isn't it?
What recipe?
The one whispered in every prison from Alcatraz to Sing Sing. Your specialty. Guaranteed to be so mouth-watering good that you can't stop eating. Until you drop dead.
Oh dear.
Mary!
Too late. She's been poisoned too.
I've been framed.
Have you?
You gotta believe me. The waiter did it.
How dare you?
You've had it in for me ever since I put that pepper in the order for table number 5, and they made you pay the bill and leave a tip.
You take that back.
I won't. You had access to all the food in the kitchen tonight, and you had a reason to kill the old lady too. I heard you talking about it.
What was that?
You'll be quiet. If you know what's good for you,
What's the matter? You afraid someone will find out your dirty little secret?
What secret?
Mrs. Cabbage is really his mother.
What? Confound you!
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. She was my mother, and I hated her. Hated her for being my mother, and hated her for being so cruel, and hated her for abandoning me and never coming back. I hated her for all of that. But I didn't kill her. Do you hear me? I didn't kill her. I swear.
Well, Rathbone, you found your man.
Yes, he has. Check, please.
Not so fast.
What? The waiter's got the motive. He had the opportunity.
Yes, he had the opportunity for the first 3 murders, but not the 4th.
The 4th? I don't have
Yes, that was the 4th.
You do realize she's my best hostess. I'm gonna have to spend a whole week training a new one.
Yes. Too bad about that one. I wish I could have stopped the murder, but of course we've eliminated a suspect.
But she wasn't a suspect.
Oh, that is true, isn't it?
The waiter must have killed all of them.
What's that?
Well, he came to our table first, and Mary asked to see the manager, which made him angry. So he killed her. Brought the poisoned lobster, didn't you, you filthy dog?
Well, Rathbone, take this man away.
Not so fast. You've got it all figured out, haven't you, detective boy? Or do you? Is this all just a clever way to push the focus off yourself and onto someone else?
What focus on myself? There's no reason to focus on me.
Oh, yes, there is. He had the opportunity to poison the girl's food.
Yes, he could have had a vial of poison to pour over her food when she wasn't looking.
Don't be ridiculous.
Yes, and he stole a reservation.
It's all been forgotten, dear.
Oh, has it?
Yes.
And why is that, Mr. Mithington?
Water under the bridge, that's all. Nothing to worry about.
No, of course not. Because the poisoned lobster was really intended for your wife.
Don't be absurd.
Why is that absurd, Mithington? You arrived late and panicked because another couple had taken your table. You pretended to be me when you thought I had died. All to take the focus off yourself, Mithington.
This is nonsense.
You poisoned the girl's lobster before you got here. You slipped the hostess a 50 and she let you into the kitchen before the restaurant opened. And then you arranged for the poisoned lobster to go to the girl instead of to your wife, who you intended to poison all along.
That's not true.
It isn't true. Are you sure, Mithington?
All right. It is true.
You intended to kill me?
Not you. Him.
Me?
That's right. You don't recognize me now, all these years and 5 facelifts, but it's me, Elsinore. Think back to the night in the war, alone in the foxhole, when we realized the enemy was on all sides and we didn't have a chance. You left me there, alone, to die, with nothing but a pistol and a map of the area.
Smythe?
That's right, you filthy coward. It's me, Smythe. Never thought you'd see me again, did you?
How did you fight your way out of that?
You would like to know, so you can write it all down and turn it into a big Hollywood action-adventure movie, just like you did when you wrote your own book about fighting your way out. But your story was a lie, Elsinore.
Impossible. Your hair was light, and now it's dark.
I had it dyed.
And you had only one eye.
This one's made of glass.
You had only one leg.
My right leg is fake.
You had only one arm. I've seen you use both.
All right. This arm is real. I got it off a corpse in the Congo. A doctor sewed it right on and gave me mechanical control. Real high tech.
You fiend, you meant that poison for me.
That's right, Elsinore. I swore I'd find you and take revenge for what you've done. And now I have. Because the chicken you've just devoured was covered in a slow-acting black widow venom. It will be a slow, painful death for you, old boy. First, you'll notice a distinct tightening in your throat, as your labor will become forced as you start to lose air and your lungs collapse. Your legs will twitch, and you'll start to lose control of all the muscles in your face as your entire body begins to spasm out uncontrollably until you finally collapse dead.
Guess you got the wrong plate of chicken.
I'm confused. Should I be upset because he was my husband and now he's dead? Or should I not feel anything because he really was my husband and I don't know who I've been living with all these years.
I'd choose the latter if I were you.
Oh, jolly good then.
So we've solved one murder.
What?
Mithington's. He accidentally killed himself.
But he killed all of the others, too.
No, he was too clumsy to kill anyone else. Except for the hostess. He slipped her a poisoned 50.
You're a genius, Rathbone.
Here it is!
Oh, I shouldn't have touched that, should I? You know, if we don't solve these murders soon, there's gonna be no one left to kill.
Yes, I suppose you're right. What we've got to figure out now is who switched those plates of chicken.
She brought him the chicken.
No, I didn't. I brought the chicken to Mr. Elsinore. You brought the chicken to Mr. Mithington.
Yes. Good thing you didn't play Mithington tonight, eh, kid?
But he did. He took the Mithington's reservations.
Is that so? Well now, son, it looks like you're in a lot of trouble.
I don't know what you mean.
Your girlfriend's dead.
Ex-girlfriend. She broke up with him, remember?
Indeed.
So, she broke up with me because she was mad about the rose thing.
What rose thing?
Well, the rose that I couldn't afford, but Mr. Elsinore paid for her.
Where is it? Egad!
What is it?
The girl didn't die from the lobster special. She died from a poisoned rose.
Then the flower girl did it.
But the flower girl is dead.
Oh, right.
Is she? Perhaps she's not. Because the hostess didn't die from a poisoned 50.
All right. I faked my death, so you wouldn't expect me.
Expect you for what? Selling poisoned roses?
No, they're antidotes. They're anti-poisons.
A likely story.
No. It's true. They are antidotes.
How do you know?
Because the flower girl knew someone had poisoned the chicken.
Yes, I knew, but I don't know who did it, I swear.
And why is that?
I'm blind.
Nonsense. You came to each and every table and sold flowers to all of us.
I used my natural sense of hearing and touch to discover where you were in the room.
And you knew where we were at the tables.
The busboy led me there.
And you went back and forth from table to table.
I counted all the steps.
And you sold roses with potent antidotes to the poison you knew the murderer brought.
Then what happened to the hostess?
A good question. Perhaps someone poisoned her without meaning to. Eh, Elsinore?
Beg your pardon?
You tipped her, didn't you?
How did you know that?
How else would a man like you have gotten a table like that?
How dare you?
No. The hostess didn't die from a poisoned 50. She died from a piece of poisoned chicken she snatched off Mr. Mithington's plate.
But she didn't snatch chicken from his plate.
She didn't?
No, I did. Oh. Oh dear.
We're running out of victims.
And you're not pinning that one on me either. I didn't poison anyone's chicken.
Blasted. How did the hostess die?
Perhaps she isn't dead.
Well, it was a good try anyway.
Does anyone want to buy an antidote rose?
Yes, me.
$50 a piece.
There were 15 bucks before.
Supply and demand.
Let's see. The poisoned chicken went to Mithington.
Can we arrest the killer and end this now?
Not yet. I've got to figure out what happened to the hostess.
Look, just arrest Elsinore. We'll all go home.
And you! Mithington got the chicken intended for Elsinore. You got the table intended for Mithington. And your girlfriend got the lobsters someone intended for somebody else. Seems to me like you're having an awful lot of good luck.
Well, I suppose.
You suppose. Seems awfully convenient to me. Wouldn't you all agree?
So you're saying he's the killer?
Not so fast. You have an excellent reason for killing Mrs. Cabbage as well.
Me.
That's right, Mrs. Salt. Or should I say, Agent 20059.
How did you know?
It's all over your face, 20059. The minute you walk into a room, the minute you open your mouth to speak, you're a spy, and everyone knows it.
So, you think you've gotten me, do you? Well, I admit it. I'm a spy.
Aha!
Sent by the government of Trans-Puffington, Vania to keep secret weapons from getting into enemy hands. But I am on a diplomatic mission. I don't even carry a weapon. I was here to keep Elsinore from Mithington.
What? Nonsense. I've never met this woman in my life.
And the waiter. His mother wanted to make sure he got home safely. You know, all those stories about gypsies and things. People talk.
My mother was concerned for me?
She wanted you in bed by 11 and says you should take your vitamins.
Nonsense. She wasn't concerned for you. She was here to make sure Mrs. Cabbage didn't kill you.
Me?
That's right. Special Agent 420.7.
Great Scott, you blew my cover.
Mrs. Salt knew you were a government agent. She wasn't here for Elsinore or Mithington. She was here to keep you from giving a secret message to Mrs. Elsinore.
Blast it, would you stop with this nonsense? Nobody here is a spy, and I'm not here to get a secret message.
Really? Look underneath your chicken.
What?
No! Quick, eat the message. Don't let anyone see it.
What message? I didn't see a message.
Never mind.
Oh, come now, darling. You can trust me. I am your husband.
Are you? Or are you really a spy as well?
I beg your pardon.
I knew it. You aren't really Henry Elsinore, who sat in the foxhole with Mithington. If you were, you'd have recognized Mithington. Facelift or no facelift? No. You killed the real Henry Elsinore and took his place. A secret government operative in place to keep an eye on Mrs. Elsinore.
Henry!
You cat.
That's right. I first began to suspect you when you didn't recognize Mithington. But then I realized you couldn't be Henry Elsinore when I saw you eat the chicken. Henry Elsinore is allergic to chicken.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that because it's not true.
It isn't. You're not fooling anyone, Moriarty.
I won't stand for this.
It was you who poisoned the chicken.
I knew it!
Along with your accomplice in the kitchen, the cook.
But I didn't know he was a spy.
What was that?
He offered me cash to sprinkle oil on the chicken. But I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to kill anyone.
A likely story. Elsinore tipped the hostess tipped the waitress tipped the waiter, and the waiter tipped the cook. All allowing Elsinore to slip a vial of liquid into the kitchen to pour over everyone's food.
You're a genius.
Thank you.
So someone call the police and take all these people away.
Not so fast. The vial you slipped to the hostess, the waitress, the waiter, and the cook, Elsinore. It wasn't a vial of poison, was it?
No.
It was a dietary supplement you were trying to test out on the unsuspecting patrons of this restaurant, so you could bring it back to the office on Monday and release it as a new diet pill.
Yes, but it couldn't have killed all these people, Rathbone. Not a chance.
And why is that?
Because the primary ingredient in the supplement is fish oil, and not cobra venom or black widow eggs. And you've identified the poisons.
Indeed.
So this means...
The murderer slipped poison into the vial when Elsinore wasn't looking.
Aha! So that means it had to be the waitress, the waiter, or the cook.
Does it? Or doesn't the manager of this restaurant also have access to the kitchen?
That's right. He walks through there all the time.
Yeah, he can go anywhere he wants.
You even get to taste the food.
I don't. Wait now, Rathbone, I hired you in the first place.
Yes. Ingenious of you, wasn't it? To hire the detective and allow him to come in and solve a crime. An excellent opportunity for you to commit murder without anyone suspecting you at all.
But I have no motive. I'd be killing my own business.
Are you serious? I've heard you say you'd have murder night every day of the week, if you could get away with it.
And what kind of manager makes a deal with the police to have his guests killed anyway?
I'm a good businessman, that's all.
Are you really a manager?
Or are you really a cold-blooded killer looking for an opportunity to murder anyone in your restaurant? You Sweeney Todd.
What is she talking about?
She wants to be an actress. Leave all the dramatics to the detective, okay?
It's not fair. I've worked hard. I've paid my dues. Why don't I get to do anything dramatic?
Please.
I mean it. I could put on a really dramatic death. See? That was good, wasn't it? I mean, didn't all of you really believe it?
Hey, weren't we about to solve a murder here?
Bully. But isn't that what a good murderer does? Act.
Oh, good. I get to be the center of attention now.
You don't want to be the center of attention, sweetheart.
Sure I do.
She could have done it. I mean, she's had the opportunity.
And she's in training. None of us know her very well.
Yes, dear girl. But there is one problem. She couldn't have done it.
Why?
Because she's been poisoned herself.
What?
How do you know that?
The telltale signs. Look at the blue around her lips, the pale white of her skin, the weakness in her knees.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh,
Why are all the women being killed?
no, wait. I think I'll make it.
Quick, where's one of the antidote roses?
$50.
But she's dying.
A girl's gotta make a living.
Hurry up!
She's gonna die.
I don't care.
Here,
Oh, thank you.
quick. Sit down. Put your head between your knees and breathe deep.
Oh, okay.
How do you know so much about poison antidotes?
I've had to use a few in my time.
Is that so?
Yeah, I haven't always been a cook at this restaurant.
I knew it. You were once a cook at
Spy school.
You're a spy?
Well, a cook for Spies. I got out of the business because it didn't pay.
Then who keeps killing everyone?
Why, it's you, dear.
Me?
That ad that you took out in the papers, looking for spies and ex-cons and people with grudges to pay for dinner. I thought it was an advertisement for a daytime TV talk show.
That was just an ad. I was looking for customers.
Wait, did you say ex-cons?
Yes, but we haven't found any of those yet, have we?
No, we haven't. Have we?
What do you mean?
Amazing, isn't it, that you brought the girl who intended to break up with you to dinner on murder night?
She broke up with me because she was mad about the rose.
Is that it? Or did she break up with you because she just discovered you did 5 years hard labor for theft and burglary?
That is not true.
Check the reservation list, and you will find one table set aside for the mystery guest.
By Jove, you're right.
You wanted her dead, didn't you? All this time you faked your innocence, when really you brought her here to have her offed, legally, on murder night.
You can't prove a thing.
Plates got switched, people around you started to die. The waiter brought you the poisoned water.
No, it's all a lie.
Prove it.
Fine. I knew it was murder night, you're right. But I'm not an ex-con. I'm a cop.
What? A cop?
That's right, Rathbone. Don't you recognize me? Oh, it's been a lot of years and a lot of crimes. You thought you left me in the past. But I'm back. Back to put a stop to all your games.
Games?
Don't you remember me, Rathbone? I'm your old partner.
Bogart?
That's right. I look young now, I know, but that's because I'm a master of disguise. You thought a random couple came in. Happened to be a girl who loved lobster and an ex-con. But it's me, Rathbone. I swore I'd stop you years ago, and now I'm back.
He's lying. This man served 5 to 10 in Sing Sing.
You have so graciously accused the entire restaurant of being murderers and spies and whatnot. But nobody's actually examined you, have they, Inspector Rathbone? You faked your death to throw suspicion completely off yourself. You had access to the chicken in the kitchen before making your appearance. You had access to everyone's secret files and secret lives. You knew that no matter what we did in the restaurant, the police department would never arrive, because you had been sent in to investigate the murders. But what they didn't know was about the detective and the murderer.
Bully for you. Ingenious.
You waited for all the dinner guests to arrive, knowing each one of us was here for a performance. But what we didn't know was that all the murders were real. One by one, you decided to pick us off while pretending to investigate the goings-on. But you never once tried to stop the murders from actually happening.
Solving murders can be so predictably boring. After all, I'm too clever and ingenious for any criminal mind to outwit. I had to entertain myself somehow.
So you became a murderer.
Pity, isn't it?
Each one of us had a reason for committing the murders. That's why we were all too afraid to speak up. We'd be found out. And now, Inspector, it looks like the shoe's on the other foot. The tide has changed. The spotlight is on you, old friend. And now we've got you.
Clever boy. But you forgot one thing.
And what's that?
I'm the only one in this restaurant with a weapon.
Drat!
And I've got you all covered.
Put that down, you fiend.
I won't. I've been cleared by the police department to investigate a murder this evening. And I'm going to do it. Even if I have to murder every one of you.
That's it. Your contract with this restaurant is terminated.
Fool. You think that will stop me?
I was hoping.
I'm going to kill every one of you. Starting with you.
You wouldn't dare.
Watch me.
That's it. You're fired.
Oh, do something, darling.
What do you suggest I do, dear?
I don't know. I thought you were some kind of super spy or something.
Well, when the man has us covered...
Enough of this chit-chat. Prepare to die.
Hold it right there, Rathbone.
But you're dead.
Nothing like the old pretend you're dead to throw the murderer off, so he'll let down his guard and forget about you trick.
I knew I hadn't offed you yet, but it doesn't matter. You're just a hostess.
Oh, come on now, Rathbone. Surely you're a better detective than that.
What?
I'm not really a hostess. I'm actually from the Scotland Yard.
No!
Sent here to stop you from these little dinner parties.
You'll never stop me, you reservation-taking bimbo! I'm too much for you. You think you can stop me with karate?
Try me.
Silly girl. I don't fight with the body. I fight with the mind. All right. One false move and the old lady gets it.
Oh, goody.
Really? You are the most infuriating person.
Oh, come now. Don't threaten the old bat if you don't intend to back it up.
What?
I've been trying to get rid of her for years. Bless.
That's it, Henry. I've had my fill. You're next on the list of murders.
Let me go.
Please, Mrs. Elsinore, control yourself.
Just one little murder.
Looks like you're out of your options, Rathbone.
Oh, confound it. You can't do this to me.
Your days of murder and solving your own case are over. Does someone have a pair of handcuffs?
Oh, yes, certainly.
Eleanor.
I'm not really Eleanor Elsinore Henry. And you're not really Henry, which has been established.
Then who are you?
Dr. Rebecca Worthington Nickleby, lead poison expert in the world.
Poison expert?
That's right. They sent me here in answer to the restaurant's ad, in response to last murder night. All of you who have lost loved ones this evening have nothing to fear. The vial the cook poured over the food was actually poison antidote. The same vial of antidote I gave the blind flower girl yesterday afternoon at FBI headquarters.
FBI?
Very good, Dr. Worthington Nickleby. That's right. I am the top blind agent in the FBI.
Since when did the FBI start hiring blind agents?
I am the first.
No wonder she's the best.
And you were all sent here to stop me?
I stop you too.
An actress?
I do have a day job. I work as an operative for the CIA.
Blast!
So murder night turns out to be the final curtain in a long career of crime, Rathbone.
Not necessarily. Because, my friends, I have one last trick up my sleeve. While each of you has been intently focused on not being the next murder victim, I have planned and executed my getaway.
Getaway?
Outside the restaurant at this very moment stands a big black sedan, driven by my notorious partner in crime, Holmes.
The great detective.
The very same. It gets boring solving crimes and being the do-gooder good guy all the time. We had to find a hobby.
Is there no justice?
Holmes is waiting to whisk me away to safety in a charter jet out of the country. And in the meantime, you will all be here, struggling to keep your pitiful lives. For at this very moment, Holmes is flipping a switch to pour poison gas into this room. Yes, the effects of the poison will begin to wear on you momentarily. You will feel sleepy. Your eyes will begin to droop. And then you'll pass out. Anyone? Pass right out. Feel sleepy?
I don't feel the slightest thing.
Me either.
Well, you will. Just, wait a second.
Too bad, Rathbone. I heard the black sedan sitting on the street corner when I was cutting roses, realized the occupant was up to no good, and called headquarters to take him downtown for questioning.
Confound the luck!
Looks like we got you, Rathbone.
Not so fast. You say you're a poison expert,
Yes,
and you administered antidote onto everyone's food,
indeed.
just as I intended.
What was that?
Surely you didn't think a world's famous detective would honestly commit real murder, did you?
You liar!
You'll never prove it. All of my victims are simply sleeping, that's all. I administered the poison, allowed simpering twits to give them the antidote, and the case is solved. Magnificent, if I say so myself.
You'll never get away with this.
Oh, but I have. For as you can see, my victims are waking. No crime has been committed here. I can walk free. Free! Free! Bully for me. I'm a genius. Absolutely ingenious.
Water?
Well, guess that does it for murder night. Now all of you owe me $200 for the evening.
You're just going to let him get away.
He didn't do anything wrong. Technically.
He attempted to murder Mary.
And the busboy. And the Mithingtons. And...
Nonsense. I simply knocked them out for a little while. I never truly intended to harm anyone.
But
And you can't prove otherwise.
But we're all witnesses to his murderous rampage.
I'm hungry. Do you think you could make me another lobster?
But of course.
You were poisoned, and you want to eat again.
Being dead makes me hungry.
And now, dear friends, I must bid you all adieu. The evening has been delightful. Same time next week for murder night.
Certainly.
You doing this again?
Hey, it's my biggest moneymaker.
Not so fast, Rathbone.
Not so fast. Isn't that my line?
It's my line now. You forgot one little thing.
And what's that?
The poison I put in your gas mask.
What?
I snatched it from your pocket in the kitchen when I saw you hovering around the chef's chicken.
You wouldn't dare!
That's right, Rathbone. You've been poisoned yourself, and we hold the antidote.
$50.
No, not $50. You have to admit your crime first.
You fiend! You've poisoned me! I'll have you arrested!
You can't prove that I poisoned you.
I've got witnesses!
What witnesses?
I didn't see anything.
You devils!
That's right, Rathbone. Admit your deeds to the police or face certain death from the poison. Your choice.
We finally got you.
Blast you! Blast all of you!
Let's go, Rathbone. Downtown.
Hey, what about my 50?
Save it, sister. You can get it downtown.
I'll go make you that delicious lobster dinner.
Oh, thank you, cook.
Come on, I'll need your help.
You're not going to dump pepper in it again, are you?
How are you still alive?
Not really, Mr. Elsinore. I killed Mr. Elsinore years ago and took his place as a spy.
Really? That's wonderful news. I won't have to kill you after all.
Darling, are we still a married couple?
Of course we are, darling. Come on, Elsinore, old boy. We have a lot of catching up to do.
My little darling, come to me, Snookums.
Don't think you're getting away with abandoning me, Mother.
I didn't abandon you. I come here every Friday night for dinner just so I can see you.
And because of murder night. That's always a good draw.
But I've lost my detective. How can I continue murder night?
Well, I did manage to break open the case.
You did?
Yes, my dear, you were dead at the time. I also revealed that I'm actually an undercover cop, and that you and I broke up over the course of the evening.
I don't want to break up. Let's stay together.
Oh, all right.
So you did break open the case.
Indeed.
Well, I do have an opening for a detective.
Do I get to use a magnifying glass and smoke a pipe?
If you want.
Well, in that case, I suppose I could solve a crime or two for you, as long as I get a cut of the house.
And then it's settled. Everyone, grab a glass of water. I'd like to propose a toast to my new detective, my new draw, to murder night.
To murder night!
I forgot to warn you. Don't drink the water.
We'll see you in the lobby.
You